Oh, wow. Shake it off. Morning. Yeah, they had to update the client. I knew it. Morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And as we should do every day, should listen to Edwin Starr. What is good for? Absolutely. What is good for? Mhm. 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 Yeah, let's just start with the fact I read. The first article I read this morning was from PBS that says Donald Trump has ignored his own U.S. spies who said Iran's not building a nuclear weapon and appears to want to pursue to go to war with Iran. So make sure we get that out there nice and early. Uh, any lives lost at the hands of U.S. soldiers are a war crime. Just make sure we say we don't want forever war. I'm anti-war. I've War only benefits contractors. War doesn't benefit the military. It's to our detriment. One of the reasons to join the Marine Corps infantry is because I'm so goddamn big that if the bad guy sees some big ugly motherfucker like me, they're like, nah, fam. I thought Marines were little people, right? That's like the whole. It's not to fight necessarily. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn today. But on the whole, the purpose of your military is to dissuade conflict by show of force. Because war, you don't want that. I got little cousins on active duty, dog, in the infantry, in the Marine Corps. I don't want none of that. I don't want to see Iran destroyed again. But now I'm trying to find that article where it said, hey, Donald Trump's own spies have said, okay, and and remember how I made a video, I don't know if you saw it recently, where I said, hey, Benjamin Netanyahu in 1996 testified before Congress to try to draw the United States into war with Iraq. and said that the US was in danger, was already complicit, and was basically saying if you don't get involved, they're going to attack you and draw you into it. 5 years later, 9/11, right? Well, I said in that video, Benjamin Netanyahu said if Tel Aviv falls, New York City falls. Tel Aviv's already under fire. So how do you interpret that? So I just want to make sure that it's a very, in my eyes, it's very sobering when you realize, like, remember when George Bush dropped the ball and got faulty intelligence and acted on it, and it caused us to go to war for fucking 20 years and cost trillions of dollars and ruined millions of lives? Remember, Israel is an unfortunate ally. Yeah, that's what that makes it what it sounds like. Israel will do anything to enable its expansionist, imperialist means. And remember, if you don't like this, if this isn't how you like living, imagine being the rest of the world watching the United States and Great Britain. Imagine being the rest of the world. Yep. Look at Russia being expansionist and imperialist in 2025 with settled borders and shit. Going in and just saying we want Crimea, all of it. Which, by the way, one of the things that's important to point out is Crimea is mineral rich. So the point of Russia taking over the Crimea is to increase their mineral count exponentially. It's just for mining, right? And where do you think Vladimir Putin got that shit from? Elon Musk. How do you think Vladimir, because think about it, Vladimir Putin's been in power for a long time. How did they know Crimea was so nutrient rich? Elon Musk and his daddy. His dad's a miner. Think about it. His dad owned mines in South Africa, emerald mines. Yeah. Hmm. So I just want to make sure we get that out there and we say, hey, but yeah, uh, th- I'm 100% Elon Musk and his dad have communicated with Vladimir Putin, exchanged ideas. 100%. Hmm. And Elon Musk's trying to slither away, right? With after having done the damage. Oh, I saw um consumer spending hit a 4-month low last month in May. So understand it, war is not to our benefit. It's not to our profit. It's not to, you're not gonna get money in your check because we're at war. Think about how unhappy you gotta be to try to sick the US military on your own people, and despite warning from your own intel, hey, Iran is not making a nuclear weapon right now. He's doing this shit anyway. It just feels so incredibly dumb. So incredibly dumb. I want like the ICC and the UN and whatever. I want them to all take him into arrest and arrest all of them, all these corrupt officials. It's unfortunate here in the United States where politics, which, for most of my life, it seemed not to be really affecting us. And then it really only seems like in the last decade or so that politics has become so divisive. I just don't see it that way. I don't see it that way at all. The thing about it is, growing up, I've always been very social, and I've never really known people to call themselves Democrat or Republican. Only very recently have I seen like people identify, right, I'm a conservative or I'm a Republican. It, and I mostly for the record, it's people saying that I'm a conservative or I'm a Republican and I disagree with Donald Trump. And you're just like, but what about that whole first part? Why are you still on the team? Why are you on that team at all? Why do you call yourself a Democrat or a Republican? I don't want to hear it's because I believe in democracy. That's a bullshit answer. Or this is a democratic republic. So you're either democratic or you're a Republican. Ha ha ha. That's nope. Think about it really hard. Did your mommy and them call themselves Democrat or Republican? My parents didn't. My parents made good money and they were social. And my parents hosted get-togethers at our house with our neighbors my whole life. Never, I think I can think of one woman, and I can think of one woman. Yeah, one woman. She was my neighbor. She called herself a Democrat. She had a greenhouse on her land. She was a flower lady. Of course she is a fucking Democrat. But other than that, like my whole fucking life, people don't call themselves Democrat or Republican. I see social media content creators calling themselves that. And I get it. I get it. They want to divide us up. They want us on fucking teams and shit. And I just so happen to have a line on, I'm pretty sure this is the end of the Republican Party. I'm pretty sure they fall the fuck apart when MAGA loses power and they're no longer relevant. They'll just leave, and so will all their money. And that'll leave the Republicans who are already kind of with no money. And you think they're already losing. Like again, I went to school for data analytics, so there's a reason that I'm just like, do you understand? Like they're not gonna lose, they're not gonna win elections moving forward, and that pushes us towards a uniparty state where it's a Democrat versus this chucklefuck. And you're just like, right, but hold on, listen to what this Democrat is fucking saying and who they're affiliated with and who they're backed. But understand that the President of the United States does not have the power to declare war, much like he does not have the power to lay tariff, which he also, it was found that it was not legal for him to do. But much like we've talked about many fucking times, it's not a crime until you do the deed. It's not a crime until you do the thing. I think he'll declare war on Iran. I think he wants his. He's doing what Vladimir Putin has told him to do. Okay, so remember Donald Trump had realized the impact it was having on his hotels, so he exempted farms and hotels from immigration raids. I just want to make sure we show um, the Department of Homeland Security on Monday reversed that decision. Okay, and everybody wondered how happy was Donald Trump with Pete Hegseth. He wasn't. Donald Trump reamed out Hegseth for the his birthday parade, which was a shit show. Yeah, little boy dictator yelled at major drinking problem that our soldiers looked too happy during the parade. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for what was sad was the part where he was on stage and he does the little drinking from penises dance and yeah, yes. Squint said he wants to be remembered as this great military leader and president. The only problem is that he's neither. Right, right. Oh man. And the problem with Donald Trump is he's got motherfuckers glazing his ass. Look at this text from Mike Huckabee. What a fucking yokel. And you know what the problem is? You know what the problem is with these idiots? The problem is they're not getting away with it. That's the problem. It's like they're doing all this fuck shit and then they get told no, right? Like Brad Lander got arrested by ICE, right? He got released before the end of the day. Again, it's not about results, it's about shock and awe. It's a military concept. It's an army thing. It's got Flynn all over it. Gabbard and Flynn all over it. Hey everybody, Bob's here today. And again, I don't know about y'all. This has been the longest 6 months of my life. Remember how I've been telling y'all to get off of WhatsApp? Yep. I'm reminded, hey, I just shared a link in the comments to proof that WhatsApp is sharing details of Iranian users to Israel to help them commit war crime. So remember when I tell you every single day, stop using all these applications. Stop using Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Get them shit off your devices. If you can get off of Amazon, get the fuck off of Amazon. Get it off your device. Delete the shit from your device. Here's the latest where WhatsApp is sharing the location and details of Iranian members to Israel to help them commit war crime. It is. It's been the longest 6 months of our lives. I'm grateful. I think one of the things that's lost on me, um, that gets lost on me, is that were it not for the show, I would just be working and playing video games and being with my wife and our dogs, right? And otherwise sleeping, right? But because of the show, one of the things I try to do is not have my head in it all the time because I've been there before. I've because I think because I have an education in social media, I have been glued to the shit. I was glued to the shit before I had a degree in it. Let's say it like that. And I didn't become unglued to the shit. Really, yeah, yeah, crush. I wake up every day like, how is this motherfucker alive? The stress would kill me if I was him. It's got to be the blow, and the other drugs. But yeah, here's the article from AP News where Donald Trump's own spies, okay, Donald Trump's own spies have told him that Iran, by the way, if you're gonna make fucking content, can you please, can you please say the fucking country correctly? Can you pronounce Iran like you're supposed to pronounce it? Because if I hear another motherfucking creator say Iran, I'm gonna die. Burp. Oh, I'm Atlas, never sober. So, Donald Trump was told by US spies that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. And he is ignoring that anyway. Iran's going offline to cut off Israel's use of the internet to gather intelligence. Do you see, do you see the correlation between me sitting here every day and saying get Facebook threads, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, Amazon, get all those things off your devices. They're all gathering information about you and they're selling it. Morning, hiya. But yeah, Zeke, it's Iran. Yeah. So just remember to control what you can control. Understand that Donald Trump does not have the power to declare war. He can move assets, but he can't make him do anything. Once he issues orders, no, no. Notice that what do they mean about America first? Jesus fucking Christ, Bob, I wish I knew. It's not the American people. Paul no front again my last words. I have found myself reaching out to the few men that I still like have a relationship with a little more often just to say, hope you're good. Hmm. Remember, when the US goes to war, who profits? Oh, who profits? Defense contractors. Because they're gonna get to go try out all their shit and see how it works, right? Nah, I mean, Atlas, let me explain this. So I went back to school. I was gonna get a degree from Purdue in data analytics. And one of the things I tried not to do was use what I learned in data analytics to study climate change. And by the time I turned my head and started looking at climate change data, I was just like, oh, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be a football coach. I think I'm gonna play Magic and travel and see my friends and family and shit before the world is not nearly as easily traversed. You think it's bad now? Think it's gonna get better? You think you're gonna be able to go anywhere in the world in the next 5 years and just be welcomed? Think about after that. So I'm gonna go try to be around the people I care about the most, the most. On the 19th, on the day that the band comes back, we were gonna blow up. We've been on we've been on the cusp. I've just gotta learn, like, if I don't fucking know you, not to like react one way or another about it. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that are regularly talking. I'm not being dramatic. I am saying, what if it's harder to travel in the future? Will you be sad that you didn't? Question mark. Okay. So in my opinion, here's you got to stop paying all that interest. Save up as much money as you can, make as much money as you can, travel as much as you can, right? And try to be frugal and shit, right? I still got a fucking mortgage to pay, right? But if you have any aspirations of doing that, what makes you think it's going to get easier? That's all I'm asking. And I'm saying, like, it should be reasonable because I just said consumer spending just hit a 4 month low. What do you think? The prices of shit goes up when nobody's got money? Hell no, them prices bottom the fuck out. So it's about to be like super economical to travel for a while. Games are full weirdo. Damn crush. Hey, maybe if you say you're looking for like a 7 figure a year, 8 figure a year sugar daddy that is willing to give you an allowance. I mean, hey, hey, I'm just kidding. Zeke says I want to go to Asian countries. I want to play on the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour and be like a very outspoken, competitive, be myself. hmm But I had, and I was playing good Magic. I was regularly like top eighting um, PTQs, which means you're on the doorstep of playing and on the Pro Tour. Um, and well, part of my problem was financial. When I was at the height of being able to play Magic and being successful at it, I was fucking broke. Didn't have any money. Just, I mean, it's just you got to travel. You got a new set comes out like every 90 days. Since the beginning of 2025, we've had three sets come out already. And I'm not complaining. I love the shit. Dude, they've made Magic the Gathering. They made a Marvel set. They made a Fallout set. Like I'm in fucking heaven. They made Magic the Gathering and other shit I like is a set. So that's why I like Magic the Gathering. It's like a lifestyle. There's the Pro Tour, which is worldwide. It's in fact the Pro Tour is this weekend. So if you want to get into Magic and you're like, oh, what's Jared gonna go do? The Pro Tour. Okay. I'm trying to see where this event is, and they just didn't do a good job of this. Yeah. My wife and daughter are heading to South Carolina this week, getting into my feels about it with the current events. It's understandable, brother. I would be in my fifis, letting the ones I love out of my sight. Send them feet pics for cash. Let's go. Crush, get that money. I would. I'd be taking up on these motherfuckers. Oh, you want to see toes? Bitch, eat toes. Give me 50, 100. What the fuck? Get money. And actually, take care of your toes and shit. And don't post for shit for free. Create scarcity. Now we're all talking about business and shit. And then you got to get a name. I mean, Crush is like a good name and shit. But your husband said, absolutely not. Hey, you know what? Wedded bliss. What can I say? Don't worry, my wife and I already had this conversation when she was like, "What would you say if somebody was like, I'll give you, I want 5 pictures of your feet. I'll give you 100, $200 uh per." And I'm like, "Taylor, that's $1,000 a week. Is that cash?" And she's like, "Yeah." Why are we even talking about this? That's an extra fucking $1,000 cash. Do you know what we could do with the extra $1,000 cash? Michael Smith said, "Do I get feet pics?" Right? He said, "No fucking way." Shit. I'm not a capitalist either. I was talking more about like you would have money to do stuff. You know what I mean? I totally get what he's saying. Like, no, within the sanctity of our relationship, money would be great, but like, no. He sounds like someone who needs feet pics. I would even do BOGO for that. Yeah. But here's what we should do this weekend, because the Pro Tour is on, and that's what I want to do. Oh. So I was saying, like, I was playing. He's like, what do you fuck do you think they do with all those picks? I mean, Crush, if you're getting off to feet, I mean, for 200 bucks though, it's like, what? If you sent a picture of your calf, they'd beat off to it. Crush, come on. What'd you think they wanted it for? Come on, Crush. That's too funny, y'all. So you should, by the way, Atlas said, God damn it, bro, I don't know what to do. I don't even know what to do. I'm just trying to push back against what I've labeled as evil. So what I try to do is think about what environment can I be in that is incredibly diverse, where the people that don't look like me need support from people that look like me. Magic the Gathering is one of those places. Magic the Gathering draws people across the spectrum of autism. Hard pause. That makes it a joke. And then also kids, ranging from, oh, I'd say like middle school all the way through like college age kids. And then that's only half the play group. The other half are anyone just, dude, I've played against electricians. I've played, you know what I mean? Teachers, lawyers, doctors. I played against the people that make the most money and are the most educated. And there's a whole scrub environment where there's people that like just don't have money. And I came from, remember, my family's poor. My parents, my dad was the first person in my entire family to get a college degree. So while my parents did good, my parents were having to help out their family, right? Fortunately for me, I have cut myself off from all them people because they were hardcore Trumpers long ago and just say, live your fucking life. So what I've chosen to do is get into Magic the Gathering as a hobby. One, it gets me out of the house, and one of my very best friends owns a business where I can go play. And that friend of mine, again, is someone who don't look like me, right? And so not only do they deserve my support, I want to make sure I grace them with my money, my presence. Um, but in the event something happens, I want to make sure that I'm. Danielle said, I'm the first in my family to get a college degree. Look at you go, baby. Yeah, Atlas. Anonymous put out that first of all, Anonymous is releasing a bucket of information in like 16 days. Okay, so we're counting that down until they release all this information. And leading up to it, they are kind of uh, giving up some additional info. Okay, so know that I think if Anonymous is saying like, hey, in 16 days, we're releasing all of this highly relevant information. And you see what's going on in the US government. You're like, they seem awful shaken up. You know something's off. And as I've said, I made a piece of content. I put it together for you. The TikTok is supposed to get banned in 2 days, right? How you get away with some shit, how you get away with some shit, how you start a fucking war is you have a false flag event happen under the veil of a TikTok ban. So TikTok gets banned, you can't, people ain't live anymore reporting shit, and all of a sudden there's a massive catastrophe. Some event, right? It ain't gonna be you or me, right? I'm not religious, but I pray to all your gods. I talk to all those motherfuckers. And I'm like, listen up, yahoos. Hey, I pray that none of you are out and about when shit happens, when shit pops off. Um, Fortunately for me, I don't think it's gonna be a nerd convention, actually. I know. I what's a wait, hold on. Your daughter's 18 and getting into magic. Okay, Crush asking real questions. Fetches and shocks, my dear. Land. You need the most important thing that a Magic player can have is 4 copies of every fetch land and that match. All those copies need to match. If you need more information on this, I have to make a video. But like you need 4 Flooded Strand, 4 Bloodstained Mire, 4 Windswept Heath. Why? Because no matter what happens with her Magic playing, she will always have the mana base to play anything. And so it doesn't matter what card gets printed, she'll need fetches and shocks for that shit. No matter if she is a casual player, if she's a competitive player, fetches and shocks. Now, you get more into the shit and you start playing extended formats because if you really want to play Magic year round and you're trying to be a competitive player, you have to be willing to and able to play vintage and legacy magic, which means not only are fetches and shocks great, but then there's fetches, shocks, and original dual lands. And those are the investment part of Magic, where you're talking about 300 to thousands of dollars per land, depending on what your budget is. And eventually, over time, you'd upgrade those copies to better copies. And Magic the Gathering, in my eyes, I don't collect. I'm not a collector. It's a collector's game. Okay. There's the reserve list. Once you get fetches, shocks, and duels, now you're gonna look at gifting reserve list pieces. So you're talking about like the Power Nine. So all the Moxen and all the Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, all that Time Twister, all that shit. The one thing about Magic the Gathering that everybody needs to know is the best part about Magic the Gathering, in my eyes, is that there's this commander format that is a very open and welcoming format. Uh, and you get a 99 card singleton deck that you can put all your favorite cards that you love to cast in, and then you have a commander. And as long as the commander's color identity matches the color identity of the cards in the deck, uh, you could play like a one-on-one, two-on-two teams, whatever, commander game. It's just like a community game. Mhm. So commander decks are also that would be 50 to 100 to $150. That's a sort of a minimum. But once you get beyond like buying them sealed product, which I don't advocate doing. You notice I didn't say buy them packs of cards. Buy them boxes of packs of cards. I didn't say that. I said she needs fetches and shocks if she's gonna play the legacy and vintage formats, which are fucking required. She gonna want original duels, and then eventually, as a gift, you want to gift stuff like Power Nine shit. Hmm. Yes, it's a collector's hobby. It's bad as fuck. Like, especially if you're a girl and you have your shit tight. You know how it is. In any fucking hobby. Fetches and shocks. Fetches and shocks, then OG duels, then OG Power 9. Hmm. Yep. The fucking YouTube chat is like, did you forget about us? Bob said anonymous, let it go, let it go. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. Gabby. The truth never bothered me anyway. Never watched Frozen, but I played Kingdom Hearts 3 and one of the worlds was frozen. And when I heard the song for the first time, I had a good I had it playing for a week. And see is dabbling this shit. You think I'm here talking amongst yourself, man. Why are there AI government officials? Jesus Christ. Like if an honestly replaced SEA, you wouldn't know because you don't have the original identity. Yeah. Yeah, chill. She said, chill, you two were birthday buddies. Oh, I gotta tell you. So you'll want to get, when you start buying fetches, you start looking at the price of fetches, and they're not that bad. I went and looked the other day, and it was like, oh, they're like $10 for like fetches. No. Onslaught fetches. Onslaught. You gotta get Onslaught fetches. Them bitches are $80 a pop. But when you compare the modern card frame to the Onslaught card frame, not fucking close. Not close. Just letting you know. I gotta buy them too. Hmm. Yep. I'm playing with Onslaught fetches. Old school fetches. Hmm. It's such a Magic is such a sexy game, especially when you take care of your cards and shit, and you like I actually love the game. I'm not a motherfucking hater. That's one of the things that y'all got to realize about Magic is that I've always loved it, but I've never how had the money. Oh, she got to clean her fucking room up. Can't be a sloppy Magic player. Mm-mm. I did that shit. It's no bueno. Nope. 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 Look at this shit. I'm sloppy as fuck. Mm-mm. I sold all my whole collection and was like, I'm gonna reset and not have as much bullshit and not have as much product. Yo, Atlas, I listen to this song pretty regularly. Well, I mean, we the thing about it is, hold on, Atlas. The thing about it, you said you don't know what's propaganda and what's not. Okay, we shared an AP article where Donald Trump's own spies, like the guys that work for him, are like, Iran's not building a nuclear weapon, and he's ignoring that anyway. Understand he can't declare war. Lincoln paranoia? No, Chance the Rapper. Wait. Gabby said, I was saying before they had propaganda ads during the Stanley Cup last night, they said Iran is going to use nuclear weapons on us. No. I mean, like, it's one thing to defend Israel, when Iran is firing hypersonic missiles, uh, it's one thing. It's another to fire on Iran. Yeah, yeah. Whatever dealer that he has with Satan Yahoo's deep. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I just want to point this out. It cracks me the fuck up. But I always get these compliments, and they're like deep compliments where people are like, "You're so calm." It's crazy that you're able to sit there and every day for 90 minutes just sit and talk about the news. And it's like, I'm high. Like, what are you even? Thanks. I'm fucking stoned, you dumbass. Composure? What are you talking about? No, that's Marine Corps shit. Is it how well I speak English? Oh, that's the U.S. Public education system. Hmm. Is it my dashing good looks? But that's my mom and them. But why am I so calm? Hi. Hmm. What the fuck are we talking about? But I mean, I appreciate when somebody says something to me and it's not mean, right? So I'll take the compliment. Thank you. I appreciate you. You got to control what you can control, right? 8 hours of sleep a night. Your bitch ass probably needs to take a nap. Let's be serious. And then, you know, you got to drink water. You got to exercise. You got to eat right and shit while you can. Because one of the things that a lot of people have said is they don't, oh, this isn't going to affect me. So, how do I say this in kindly? So, remember how I told y'all I was on active duty in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company, the most combat deployed unit in Marine Corps history, and how I ain't no fucking war hero, but I know some, and how I'm like still buddies with guys I served with. And I saw a picture of um my platoon, Cat Black, Combined Anti-Armor Team Black. There's like 27 or 29 of us in that picture, and there's a single digit of us left, like nine. And just to reiterate, I was on a boat, and the deployment after that to Iraq, they took no CAS. Nobody got so I could tell you that without there being combat mentioned, the world killed 2/3 of my platoon in 20 years. I'm talking about suicide, drug overdose, died in combat, died r- to an accident when they got out, right? Died on active duty. Hmm. So you have to think about how impactful, um, I wouldn't say even war is, but just wartime. I mean, the impact of war on a population, because there's some people that would do anything you tell them to do. There really are some chuckle fucks out there that really will. Um, yeah, one of the things that you don't need to have to worry about in the United States is us getting hit by any sort of long-range ballistic missile. The United States has what's called the Missile Defense System. So we have missiles to shoot down their missiles. a kid I went to college with, uh, he uh he works for the missile defense system. He's like the smartest person ever. His name was Steven. Yeah, he had a triple bachelor's in all the schools of engineering at Purdue. And he decided since he was ahead to go ahead and get his master's. So in like a 4, 5, 6 year period, he had a triple bachelor's in engineering from Purdue and a master's, and got a job working for the U.S. Missile Defense System, designing missiles. So I'm just saying, like, hey, my a kid I w went to college with is like so fucking smart and piss you off. He was the guy with the glasses, smoking a cigarette, blowing out his apartment window with his feet kicked up on his desk, doing his fucking homework off his calculator and shit. Call me in there when he learned something and he'd teach it to me on his little blackboard he had in his room, and I'd just be sitting there. I'm like, how did you figure that out? And you're like, oh, well, mhm, yep. And there's an insane story that I have about Steven being there for me on my 21st birthday. And in any other scenario, if it was anyone else that came to get me and they did what he did, oh, I would have been in prison a long time ago. I would have been in jail a long time ago. Hmm. And because it was his smart ass that showed up, we only spent a couple hours in jail and were released to our own recognizance and went and got in our car and drove off. That's how fucking smart he was. So yeah, they got hypersonic intercontinental ballistic missiles, and we have a kid I went to school with named Steve who's been on the fucking job for 20 years. Who's probably tired. By the way, one of the things they are hiding from us in the public eye is that Israel is invading Iran. Fuck, even I do it. Okay, Israel is invading Iran. Okay, capturing towns and villages and renaming shit and remember being imperialist. That's exactly what they're doing. hmm So remember, as I've said, stop giving them all your information. Get rid of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, all of it. Get rid of all of it. In the meantime, protest, boycott, and strike. Build communities. Start to get to know your neighbors. Okay? Join a union. So here's what happens. Uh, the United States is going to get drug into this war when Iran starts to retaliate, when they start to defend themselves. Um, Once Iran retaliates, the United States is at an impasse. Is this where we drop Israel off and we say, you're on your own? Or do we follow a decades old tradition of doing whatever the fuck Benjamin Netanyahu tells us to do and whatever Vladimir Putin tells us to do? In my opinion, there are like, I mean, there's a lot of them, way too many. Yeah, smart as fuck. So goddamn smart they came and got our asses out of the drunk tank and said go home. Doesn't matter. America first, right? Mm. And just remember, most of the people that I know don't want this. Is it accurate? China is now in the region? I don't know. Remember, one of the things Vladimir Putin was afraid of, he said recently he was afraid of China backdoor invading him if he moved westward. Like if he moved on from Ukraine and turned and went, northwest, is he going to get backdoor invaded by China? That I don't know. That I don't know. But yeah, join a fucking union. Get rid of all these apps off your phone. Stop making yourself easy to track. Stop checking in at places. When you take photos, take a photo for you, not of you. You ain't got nothing to show off anymore. Most fucked up game of Risk ever. And Risk is a fucked up game. You talk about a game that make you not want to play games no more. Risk and fucking Diplomacy. And you know what the greatest game of all time is? Werewolf. If you ever want to learn everything about everyone you know, and also who you can trust, who you cannot trust at all, Werewolf. Werewolf. Didn't know America started with an I. Hey, just remember that Israel was founded in 1948 by David Ben-Gurion, who was then the head of the U.S. or the Jewish head of the U.S. Sometimes, even when I slip up, man. So it was funny. Um, David Ben-Gurion was then the head of the Jewish Agency, and Israel was created to mimic the United States imperialist and expansionist behaviors in the Middle East. And the whole point of Israel is to find a place to expand its territory to allow the United States to place a military base in Israel. And then Donald Trump wants to build a golf course resort next to it and make it part of that so that it forces people stationed there to use his shit. And it's like he's making money off us forever. Hmm. I don't even know what people outside of America think when I say I'm American. Right. The thing about it is though, I mean, I try to get out of the house. I play Magic the Gathering. I'm going to pre-release events or Magic events. So I'm traveling and I'm out. You know, and by and large, the United States is good. It's good. I think that the opinion of the United States from an outside perspective is on the decline. But if you think about what has transpired versus what's actually happened, hasn't been a lot of winning. Just make sure we say that, you know. So if we're really uneasy, we're not really sure. Understand every day Donald Trump wakes up and fucking loses. And I know that it's hard to don't even know what's real and what's an exaggeration. Well, I mean that's one of the reasons that I'm here is to look at the news from a what is actually happening perspective. You notice that we don't post a lot of video of Donald Trump speaking. Have you ever noticed that? It's because he has dementia and he's not a nice person. And he has a fourth grade reading level. He also can't read and doesn't read. And Project 2025 is failing to do all of that shit because it's illegal. And remember, they gave him a playbook. They gave him a playbook. Yep. And they consider it a success when Donald Trump writes an executive order. Notice how it doesn't become law. And executive orders are basically a memo. So everybody's really upset because a guy keeps writing notes on napkins. Y'all gotta lighten up, understand that there's bigger fish to fry, and that's climate change is gonna make it impossibly fucking hot. And it's only gonna get worse in the future. You should learn how to play Magic. You should here's the plan. Okay. There are 4 events between now and like the holidays. 4 weekends. Okay. August 29th to 31st in Orlando. So if you live in Florida, I might be at the Orange County Convention Center. Okay. August 29th to 31st. Now, I might also be at the NRG Center in Houston, Texas, October 17th to 19th. I almost definitely will be at SCG Con Baltimore. Okay. Almost, almost definitely. And then in November is SCG Con Las Vegas, November 21st to 23rd at Westgate, Las Vegas. Okay. Those are the 4 weekends, one in August, 2 in October, 1 in November. First one's in Orlando in August. Houston in mid-October, Baltimore late October. SCG Con Las Vegas in November. Okay. There are multiple other events, and there are other competitive because that's only 4 events the rest of the year. Like that's nothing. You want to play Magic every weekend, baby. There is Nerd Rage Gaming. They use Spice Rack, and it just so happens, for the record, like the end of this month. Okay, so here's other possibilities. Okay, because I know I got viewers all over the country. I got multiple people telling me that they're getting into Magic, and they got kids that are into Magic and shit. And it's like, hey, uh, the end of June, so in about 10 days, is the NRG Series Double Showdown weekend here in Indianapolis at the Indiana Convention Center. Okay. Saturday is a $10,000 team Final Fantasy team sealed. Uh, Sunday is the $10,000 standard showdown, which I think I might be playing in. Now, in July, the weekend of my birthday, I might be in St. Paul, Minnesota. So that's third week of July, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, August 23rd to 25th, I could be in Lansing, Michigan. I know I got people in Michigan at the Lansing Center. There is also September 13th to 15th. There is in Mundelein, Illinois, at the Hilton Hotel Libertyville. And then November 1st to 3rd. Okay, so there's 9 potential events where I might be outside my house between now and the end of the year. Okay. I know that for a lot of you, yeah, I'm telling you, I might be there. Okay. Now my minimum expenses are travel, flight. I just happen to love to fly. I literally went to school to do that. And I travel light. I'm a big dude and I move fast. So like I'm not a drinker, so you know what I mean? Like I love to chill, play Magic. I love to do the thing. So yeah, I'm telling you what I like. Look, I things change, dreams change. You know, multiple stages in my life, I've had to redirect my energy. And one of the things I got to think about is when you establish what happens when you establish the American Socialist Party? Where will you want to be when it hits? And I'm not talking about bombs or anything. I'm talking about when the American Socialist Party, when it hits. Where do you I want to be? I want to be outside of my house in a very diverse crowd, away from my home. Hopefully showing a great deal of prowess, as it were. But yeah, the idea is to spend more time doing something I love, And I like to do stuff like it's like if I were a chess player. I like to play chess, right? So I don't like to play chess. It's boring. Same pieces every game? Boring. The thing about Magic is that like every game's different. It can have a samey feel. Sure. You're either winning or losing. Samey. But yeah, I wake up every morning about 4 a.m. and I just hold on to my dogs for a while. And then one of the things I don't do is I'm not sitting around anticipating bad news. I'm not doing it. I'm not tying myself to a chair and gluing my head to my phone. I'm not doing that shit. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stream myself this weekend watching the Pro Tour, which is the tour I want to play on. Mama, that man's on TV. I want to do that. So I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna share that with you. It's crazy. There's teams from all over the world. It's a worldwide game. They print magic cards in a bunch of different languages. And this weekend is Magic Con Las Vegas, which there's a Magic Con Atlanta September 26th to 28th. The Edge of Eternities. So I could very well be in Atlanta in September I gotta read this. Gabby said, thanks, Gab. The night after the election, she had a dream that Donnie was drowning in the ocean, but he was inflated like a balloon. Yeah. The thing about it is if you keep your eyes open and you go looking for it, the world's only going to get more horrific. If you redirect your energy, understand that the one of the things that I think about that I have to hold on to, I already did the most important thing I'll ever do. I got now all I got to do is follow through and survive and try to see put yourself around friends. And by the way, I'm kicking ass and taking names at work. And naturally, if I'm at a job where I'm kicking ass and taking names and making really good money to the tune of like 5 figures a month after taxes, I don't know, y'all. I don't know, y'all. If you're tired of getting paid bullshit money and you're like a good employee and you show up every day and you work hard and shit and you ain't making that kind of money, you should talk. If you look at your budget every month and you're not able to save money, meaning you're not putting money that you get paid into a savings account, or it's called paying yourself first, and all of your money is going to bills, and you're not able to save, you might look at your unsecured debt, like your credit cards, your payday loans, and personal loans. And my rule is if you're not able to save $1,000, you better not be spending $1,000 a month on unsecured debt because you're throwing your fucking money away. In excess of 70% of your payment is interest on unsecured debt. That means for every dollar you pay towards that bullshit, 30 cents hits the principal. Now I know that not everybody is a fucking finance major, but if you ever have to put groceries on your credit card, we need to talk. You know that you can get in touch with me if you need to. You know that I'm not on a bunch of social media platforms. I am not sitting all around all day making content. I make content when inspired, when I feel charged to. Okay? But I cannot tell you enough that you need to control what you can control, or you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to shut down and then you're going to do nothing. And instead, I need you to get 8 hours of sleep a night, to take a fucking nap, to drink water, to exercise, to eat right, and to stay fucking ready. And understand that on the fucking whole, you're going to be running away to safety. You're gonna run away, not run toward, away. So get used to that. It's one of the things that we learned. See what the trouble is people are mimicking Donald Trump. This is the reason why you don't just take his ass out, is because you run the risk of martyring him. That's one of the dangers um, with people seeing other people as expendable, is that not everyone is expendable. Not everyone you just kill. You kill him, you risk repeating. You risk his children. That man is a blood baron, 1 million deaths on his hands from doing nothing, from his inaction on COVID. I'll never forget that. It doesn't matter what Donald Trump did. It doesn't matter what he does. He killed 750,000 Americans because of his poor response to COVID. And the problem in this country is that too many people don't have any empathy and they look at that number and they say it's their fault. All those people that died of COVID, it's their fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault. And I just fucking disagree, man. Have some empathy. Leadership is important. But if you think it's bad now, again, I don't know this for a fact. I just have read a lot of goddamn books in my life. And one of the things that I've learned is if you think someone is evil, right? If you think someone is evil, it doesn't mean kill them. The problem with killing someone you view as evil is you risk martyring them. And a lot of people don't know what that means because a lot of people aren't gamers and they don't understand what a martyr is. A martyr is someone who dies for the cause and is the sole reason why the cause exists years and decades later, is because they martyred our king. They murdered him in cold blood, and he now stands as our reason to live. So there's a reason why you don't see me saying, like, kill Elon, kill Donald. You run the risk of martyring these motherfuckers. And you can't do that. Let them cocaine and ketamine themselves to death. I'd rather they do that. I'd rather they think themselves drunk with power. I'd rather them think themselves warlords. I'd rather them think themselves kings and die. Just die. Hmm. Yep. And every day I wake up and I think about all my friends that died of drug overdoses, accidental drug overdoses. I think about all the people that didn't even do that much drugs and died. And I think, you know how I know there's no fucking God? How are they still alive? How did it not take them too? Dumbledore and Snape. And I know that it can all get a bit overwhelming. That's one of the reasons I'm a big advocate for getting off of social media, because you're the product. You scrolling and reacting to everything and posting pictures and all that shit, you're the product and you're giving you away for free. I'm not a capitalist, but I'm not a big fan of just free doing the work for free. Get paid, right? Get paid, make as much money as you can, save as much money as you can. Okay. I think it's gonna be rough. I think it's gonna be rough until midterms. And a lot of people are like, oh, we don't have until midterms. And it's like, what do you think is going to happen in the next 6 months? What has happened in the first 6 months that makes you think the next 6 months is going to be rough? They're so self-destructive, they're going to do nothing. All they're going to do is fight and try to get ICE to ramp up what they're doing. And they're going to attack Chicago and LA and fucking New York City. And that shit is not going to fly. And people are going to stand up and people are going to push ICE out of their neighborhoods and understand the kinds of people that are getting those jobs. Okay? It's not the best and brightest. $23,000 a year, no real bullets in your guns. Everything is done by intimidation. It's only a matter of time before somebody takes justice into their own hands and you have an ICE agent getting pew-pewed and dying, and then also the person that they're trying to arrest escapes. And now you have a department in the US government, ICE, that is over budget, trying to use police as an asset to help them chase down uh, this illegal immigrant that escaped ICE custody and unalived an ICE agent. And what's going to happen is the police are going to refuse, or the police work with them, or the police work with them and then refuse. Hmm. Yep, the dam will break. Yeah, this is how the world ends. This is how the world ends. Not with a boom, not with a bang. But yeah, I am gonna continue to do everything that I can do, right? What can you do? Everything that I can. Continue to boycott, protest, and strike. You know? What happened to humanity is politics doesn't pay that much money. So these people get elected, and they've taken money from Russia. So that's every Republican elected official, or AIPAC, which is Israel. So if the United States seems pretty pro-Russian and pro-Israel right now, it's because its elected officials are bought and fucking paid for by Russia and Israel. So until we realize that 100 elected Democrats took money from AIPAC and 50 Democrats are also part of what's called the Blue Dog Caucus, it's pretty easy to see that we have a fractured two-party political system in the United States. The Republicans aren't all on the same team. There's MAGA, there's fringe, and there's people that are opposed. Within the Democratic Party, they're almost entirely opposed to Donald Trump's agenda, with the exception of the Blue Dog Caucus, almost entirely anti-Israel, with the exception of 100 elected Democrats who are part of AIPAC. And part of the reason of that there's so much silence out of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is because they were the largest donors from IPAC. Their largest donors were IPAC, AIPAC. So know that I see the Democratic and Republican parties as poisoned, and there's no fix for this. And I'm not gonna die calling myself a Democrat. I'm not dying calling myself a Republican. I'm a fucking socialist. I want equality for all. I want universal health care, education, income, and housing for everybody. Okay. And I think that when I look at one of the major problems we have is that corporations are evil, and also union membership is on a decline for going on like 70 years. So we need to join unions. Even if you don't intend to participate in a union because you have shit going on, fine. Join Work in America. Continue to protest, boycott, and strike. Stay in the loop. Far too many people are just disconnecting themselves entirely. Yes. And when we speak on socialism, one of the things that people are like, well, you're not talking about overthrowing the means of production and seizing the means of production and shit like that, and eliminating private equity. There's tons of aspects of socialism that are also worth tackling. For example, the socialist economic theory. It says shit like rent, interest, and taxes are derivative of your labor and should be eliminated. I'm fucking for that. I'm for that. If the government's not going to work for the people, why pay them? If they're just going to take money from corporations and money from foreign governments, why are we paying tax money? What are our taxes for? Especially when you have a president who can take your money away from your social safety nets and give it to his buddies. A little bit of eat the rich, get out of here. Yeah. So Magic Con, I'm going in November. You couldn't make me go to Las Vegas this time of year. Mm, 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 mm. Ba-da, meow, ba-da, meow, 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 meow. Ba-da, bow, ba-da, bow, bow, ba-da, bow, 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 bow. Ba-da, bow, bow. Ba-da, bow, bow, ba-da, bow. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, there's no way. We did that. My wife and I already did that. So there's a Magic the Gathering event that is a story. So back in like 2017, they had the largest Magic the Gathering competitive event in history. There were two flights. So there were two groups of 4,500 people. So 9,000 people all came to Las Vegas. This was within a decade ago for Modern Masters Sealed in Las Vegas. It was the largest Magic event ever. And it was 100 fucking degrees outside every day we were there. It was miserable. Miserable. So I'll skip out. I'll go in the fall. I'll go in the fall. I'll go in November. So, hey, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Keep your head up. Keep your nose out of all the horrific news. Like, don't sit and watch it because you realize like you can't do anything about it. You have to look inward. Control what you can control. Take care of yourself. Stop looking at all this. Just stop. Oh my God, I gotta watch this car crash. I gotta watch this car crash. I can promise you, if it was a fucking car crash, you'd be looking away. You know how I know? You know how I know? When I was in fifth grade, there was a terrible car crash right in front of my family. hmm I can't tell you how many cars drove right by that accident scene while my parents were picking up people's heads and shit off the road and shit and moving people's bodies and trying to check on people and see if they're alive. And my mom always told me look for the helpers. So I'm celebrating the people that are protesting, boycotting, and striking. One of the things that we do, you'll notice, is Bob said he's going to the garage to medicate. Yeah, but I'm a big fan. You know what's crazy, Bob? I've been a daily weed smoker since I was a freshman in college, so 23 years. I had to get a waiver to join the Marine Corps. The day I got out of the Marine Corps, I drove from Jacksonville, North Carolina, all the way to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to make sure that I had it when I got out of the Marine Corps. One of the things that I've always known is there are people that get paranoid when they smoke, but those are just dumb people. Um, Generally, when you smoke weed, you're just subdued. Like I am all the time. But one of the things that I noticed is that it reduces the pain from inflammation, particularly in like my joints. So I'm not like sore and can't move all the time. And one of the things that they'll figure out as we move on in life is that a little bit of ripple is way better than any alternative. Aspirin, Ibuse, acetaminophen, all that shit. A little bit of herb, you'll be all right. Yeah. Yep. And I'm not saying like fuck it, do it and go to work. No, you probably shouldn't operate heavy machinery when you're high and shit. But as a fucking pain reliever, something you do in your spare time, What you do in your home's your business, man. People do a lot worse shit. People drink and beat their kids, you know? A lot worse shit you could be doing. I'm just thankful that my parents didn't also drink. But my dad's only redeeming quality is that he said he just didn't want to be like his own daddy. And his dad was a hardcore alcoholic, died at 63. My grandfather. He died the summer of homecoming, my senior year of high school. I actually had grown to like him. Late in life, he stopped drinking, became a hardcore Christian, drove around the country in his own semi and sang the gospel with his little wife, and they made mixtapes and they were basically recording artists. But it don't matter when you become good. In my opinion, like Marcus Aurelius said, the things we do in this life echo for an eternity. And I fucking believe that shit. So if you're a piece of shit, you're just a piece of shit. It don't matter if you turn it around. It don't matter. Still just a piece of shit. Do miss a good Guinness, can't drink anymore. I just don't have the desire to do it anymore. Like I'll make a drink. I love Makers and ginger ale. It's just the perfect beverage. I don't need it. I don't need it. That booze was never doing that shit for me. It's making me sad. It made me think about the past. And that's not necessarily the healthiest thing to be doing when you've got my past. So have